Hey, everybody. How are my manifestors doing? How is the 3D physical reality game going for you? Are you enjoying it? I hope so, because that's the whole point. This is 𝗙Con back with another video. Another comment video, since the last one was so popular, and I got a lot of requests to do more of these. So I think that that's something that we're going to continue to do. You know, I used to do them a lot. I don't know why I stopped. Probably because the comments sometimes can get overwhelming. Now, if I didn't include your comment in this video, please don't be upset. It doesn't mean that if you left a comment and it's not mentioned here that I don't like your comment or I don't like you or something like that. Your comments are always important to me. I just can't feature every one of them in these videos. Otherwise, these will be very long videos. And, you know, so some comments will be very long as well, I've noticed. Now, if you have sort of a very long story and complicated kind of story, you know, if it's going to be, you know, several paragraphs in the comment section, I'm not going to necessarily do those. I might pick some of those out and do them individually in future videos. But I would recommend, if you have kind of a situation that you really want some attention on, that you get some coaching with me, because the longer the stories are, the more I tend to think, well, that would be a good candidate for some coaching. So remember that that's available to you, and you can find a link for that down below in the description box that will take you to my website and explain everything to you, okay? And then you can send me that very long story in an email, and then we can get some coaching going for you, all right? So I just have a handful here today for this video that are pretty good. Well, they're good, and they bring up interesting points that I think are important to cover. And some points that I've covered already, and I realize that, you know, as new people come to the channel, they're not going to necessarily have watched my entire catalog of videos so far. But, you know, I'll try to remember where and when I spoke about something in a previous video and link to that. If I can't always remember. And I'm not going to go back through, you know, however many there are now, 100 and something, to look for it and hunt for it. But you know, so sometimes for some of you that have been around for a while, this might seem repetitive, some of these, but that's okay. It's good to be reminded of these concepts, right? And in case you're hearing that, there's some kind of big truck coming. It might be the trash truck, garbage truck. So please forgive me for that. Hopefully my nifty microphone will drown that stuff out. It's actually been pretty good. I figured out a setting to drown out sort of ambient noise. I hope it's working. Anyway, let's get into this, guys. The first comment we have here is from Dope Queen 23. What do you think about divinely guided separation? Is there such a thing? Some say that at times the universe has to separate us so we can grow individually before we can make our way back together or possibly find someone better. Also, when manifesting someone back, can we manifest them happy, healthy, and whole? How do we avoid falling back into those old ways or patterns that we had in our old relationship in order for things to be more healthy and stable? Well, I guess there's a couple of questions in that one. But let me just start with the first one. Yes, I do think there is what you call divinely guided separation. But I want to make clear that this is, again, not, you know, I personally will never say that there is some kind of a committee in the sky that decides what's best for you. That's not the point of being a deliberate creator, right? If I were to say you're a deliberate creator, but you can only create what, you know, the universe approves of, then that kind of cancels itself out, doesn't it? That really kind of throws the whole idea of being a deliberate creator and having the power to create and the free will to create what you want in this game environment, kind of out the window. Right? So those ideas contradict each other. I don't tend to agree or subscribe to this kind of, tends to be a more spiritualist idea, I think, that there is this sort of, you know, divine intervention if somehow the universe or God or whatever you want to call it doesn't agree with what it is that you want to manifest. It intervenes and it lets you know what's part of your plan or your destiny. I don't believe in destiny. I don't believe in this kind of fatalism. You know, we are here and we come in with a certain set of circumstances that we agree upon, that we choose, we actually negotiate for before we come into the physical game environment. Okay? But we have the power to change that as we go through the game, as we go through life, and we become more aware of our power and our creative power. We're able to switch direction and manifest whatever it is we want. There is no one out there holding you to some kind of set of rules. But having said that, yes, I think there is such a thing as what you said, divinely guided separation. Now, let me explain that in lieu of what I just said. It is to your benefit, and it is always in line with what it is that you want. So the universe, from the moment that you create a desire, understands what it is you want, understands how to get it for you in the best possible way. And usually, and I've said this before many times, usually what really trips people up is the fact that once they formulate their desire and get clear on what they want, they then want to do all the work and do the intervening and micromanage the entire process, because they don't really think that the intelligent universe is doing it for them, or their monkey mind, can only conceive of 3 ways to get there. So, the monkey mind will busy itself trying to get there because it feels this need for control, because it's scared that what it wants isn't going to happen and all this stuff. It's not the job of the monkey mind to figure out every step of the process. That's up to the universe. So the universe will often say, well, we know what you want. We know what it's going to take for you to be ready for that. It will intervene, but on your behalf, you see. So it might say, well, the best way, the most efficient way, even though it may not seem that way to your monkey mind, that the most efficient way to get back with your SP, for instance, is to be separated from them for a while. But to the universe, because it can see all avenues and all infinite possibilities and routes to get you to where you want to be. To it, that might be the most efficient way to do it. And this is kind of where the faith and trust part comes in, and I realize it's difficult. But if you can sort of separate yourself from that idea for a minute, from your monkey mind trying to control and micromanage every part of the process, and also overanalyzing every part of the process, turning the problem upside down, looking at it from all angles, all this stuff that we've been taught in our ridiculous culture, to intervene, to push. This is a very Western idea as well. Intervene, push, work hard, solve the problem, get on top of it. This stuff doesn't work very well. It sometimes works, but it's the least efficient way to do things. From a creator, a manifestor point of view, it's kind of silly, okay? And from a spiritual perspective, from the universe's perspective, it's absolutely silly. And they go, well, okay, if he or she wants to intervene on their own behalf, and then we'll just step back because that's your free will to do so. But otherwise, yes, absolutely, there can be these moments of separation that will allow you and your specific person to do some growing, to get yourselves ready for the next relationship that you're going to have. I've said this many times. This is why you shouldn't really worry about the separation period. In fact, you should make it work for you. That's the time that you focus on yourself, that you do things like, when you say how to avoid falling back into those old ways or patterns, this is when you focus on yourself and you take the focus off them for a while, and you work on finding your passions, your interests in life that lie outside of this need to constantly have validation from your SP, to constantly think about what they're doing, because what it is, it's an avoidance of dealing with yourself and looking at yourself. It's an avoidance of striving to become the best version of yourself. Okay? When you do, though, when you find those things that you're passionate about, when you find a discipline that you want to get into, when you go out with your friends, when you just take a walk, when you chill out to some great music, when you just relax and cook a meal, and you learn to be in the moment, and meditation really helps for this, guys. That really helps you train your mind to be in the moment, right? And it's a practice. And again, practice. It gets easier, okay? But when you learn to be more in the moment, you're not so worried about what they're doing and where they're going, because you're having fun in your life. You're taking care of yourself. It feels good. You have more confidence. You feel better about yourself. So that at the end of that, you switch from, I need them in my life because I can't be happy without them, to, I'm so happy right now without them. It's fine that they're not here. I still want them. I'm still reaching for that, but I don't need them here because I'm focusing on myself, and I'm focusing on making my life the most amazing experience that I possibly can. And as you do that, you're emanating that happy, kind of content, centered energy outward. They will pick up on it, and it's attractive energy. They will be attracted to you even from a distance, because they'll sense that something's different about you. They'll sense that something new about you. They'll sense your growing confidence. Okay. So that's what you do, okay, in that time. That's why sometimes, yes, the universe will intervene on your behalf and on the behalf of your desire to say, well, right now you're too focused on this. If we brought them back to you right now when you're in this kind of needy state, this obsessive state, it's not going to be a good experience. So why would we do that? We need you and them to be in different corners for a little while to work on yourselves. And so as you work on yourself, you become a better partner for them as well, for that future relationship that's coming in and that you're manifesting. You have to first be a good partner to yourself before you can be a good partner to somebody else, okay? Otherwise, you're bringing the same crap into the new relationship that you had in the old relationship, if it is an ex, for instance, or even other exes. You know, if it's a specific person you haven't dated before, you're going to bring all the garbage from your other relationships into that until you sort of kind of get on top of it and realize your worth and your worthiness and your deservedness in having what you want, until you understand and learn to love yourself. Now, you don't have to completely become, love yourself all the time. As long as you take steps in that direction, that will already manifest a lot of shifts for you in life. That's actually shifting in itself, okay? So just take the steps towards it. It can be baby steps, but the moment you begin to take steps towards what you want and towards working on yourself, the universe will meet you halfway. It'll take you another 10 yards. If you walk 1 yard, it'll take you another mile, okay? So that's kind of the trust and faith part in it. Also, when manifesting someone back, can we manifest them happy, healthy, and whole? Yes, you do so by manifesting, making yourself happy, healthy, and whole. That's really it. If you feel that they're not happy, healthy, and whole, that's really just an outcropping, just really an outward expression of you lacking in that in yourself. And that's why focusing on yourself and practicing self-love and self-worth are so important. Don't try to change them. It's not about changing them. This is always about you, changing yourself and your perception of yourself. So you want them to be happier, healthier, and whole, then you practice that in yourself. Okay? Hope that answers your question, Dope Queen. Thank you for that comment. So this is from 𝗙cie𝗿. Now you got two comments. I picked one of them, which I thought was, kind of, they seem to be along the same line. So I'll read this one. 𝗙cie𝗿 writes, thanks, Tarkan. You're welcome. Thank you. Great video as always. Since I started manifesting my SP, I have started seeing lots of numbers like 1111, 555, etc. The numbers. And I've done videos about the numbers. Again, don't ask me where or when, what the title is, but you'll have to go through my catalog, but I'll go over some of that here. I did not know about this in the beginning. I even did not pay attention till I saw a post on Facebook on synchronicity. Many coaches say the numbers have no meaning, but I have heard that many people share the same experience. Therefore, I think numbers can't be random. Well, they're not random. No, they're never random. What I always say personally is that the numbers are indication of you aligning and opening up to yourself as a creator, to your true identity as a powerful creator. That's what the numbers are. They often accompany this idea of awakening to yourself. And at some point, it's kind of like one of those things where you take the pill or you go down the rabbit hole and then there's no way back. You'll keep seeing the numbers, but with time, you'll stop thinking so much about what is it trying to tell me, and you'll understand that when you see the numbers and have the synchronicities, that you're becoming more and more aware of yourself as a spiritual being having a human experience, of being in this 3D physical game environment. You're understanding that this reality, as we call it, is fluid, all right? And that's what's happening with the numbers. I'm actually the best person to answer this. The best entity to answer this is 𝗙rie, channeled by 𝗙ance, because I have a little quote about synchronicities from 𝗙rie. So I'm going to read that for you, and I hope that will clear things up. We always, and this might not be direct quotes, so some of this might be paraphrasing, we always, every single moment, have a choice to change our past as we change our present. And the more we wrap our mind around this, the more we allow ourselves to understand how this world works and how it's structured more holographically, we have more opportunity to, within relevant parameters for our lives, break that continuity more and more and more. And the breaking of that continuity will create more fluidity and flexibility within how we experience space and time, which means we will experience an increase in synchronicity, which is physical reality's linear space-time way of showing us that all things exist at once. In other words, there is no linear time. That they're all interconnected. We will experience more things like déjà vu, which is experiencing the idea of the forward arrow of time and the backward arrow of time simultaneously. Because one has the feeling in déjà vu, of course, that you know what's about to happen because it feels like it's already happened before. So you're getting both arrows of time simultaneously by expanding your consciousness to incorporate that idea. What this will mostly allow us to do to really understand this concept is truly be more lucid in the physical reality dream. So you're learning about this game now. And a lot of us are waking up right now. You've heard the idea of the great shift in 2020 and the big shift. Some people say it started in 2012, but really there is a gradual and even maybe more than gradual awakening of people to their understanding of their own power, and that this whole thing is pretty much an illusion of our own creation. And truly be more conscious about the kinds of choices we are making, the kinds of ways in which we define ourselves and what's true for us, and exactly what that does to the entire linear space-time reality when we do that. And it will give us more understanding of how we are creating our reality experience, because physical reality is just a projection. It's just a dream. And it's all about becoming more and more lucid in the physical dream. So, basically, Bashar there in that quote talking about déjà vu and synchronicities, that can include the numbers, because the numbers are another form of synchronicity. So understand that this is showing you that, yes, in those moments that you see the numbers, you're aligning with this idea of yourself as a powerful creator, and you are pointing towards what it is that you want. But the idea is not to get so hung up on it. What's going on is that you are sort of being deprogrammed, or you're deprogramming yourself from the idea that this is all just some solid external reality outside of your control. That you are actually connected to this reality, that it's a physical reality dream. It's nothing but a lucid dream. And we are all now starting to sort of slowly wake up to this idea, and we're becoming more lucid. We're becoming more fluid in the way that we're interacting with our physical environment, with our world, and with each other, and with ourselves especially. So when you start to see these numbers, and when you start to have these synchronicities, just understand that this is a huge sign of your awakening, and that is you becoming a very powerful creator. So that humanity now, we're moving into this next phase of our history, if you will, okay? Our experience here on this 3D planet, if you will. This is the time that it was always going to happen. So how we deal with it in this time is kind of up to us on a personal level. But I think everybody is experiencing a sense of waking up to something, a sense of not everything is quite what it seems. So let the numbers just be a guidance to you. Let them just be an indication to you that you are waking up to your potential as a creator, and to the idea that this is all just an illusion, and it's fluid, and it's malleable, that you can create anything that you want. Okay? That's what I would say the numbers mean mostly. But I would also not agree that they're completely meaningless. They're not. All right? But just don't get hung up on the numbers and think, well, this is now an indication of what's coming, or that I'm getting what I want. And then when you don't see it happen right away, you get disappointed. I've said before too that the numbers are like road signs. Okay, if you're driving to another city, you'll see road signs. Hey, 100 more miles to that city, 50 more miles to that city. Take this fork to that city, or this, take the left in the fork to the city, or whatever it is. The sign doesn't mean you've arrived. The sign just means you're on your way. Okay, so that's also a strong indication that you're focused in the direction of what you want. Just keep focusing in that way. All right. As you become more aware of reading your emotional guidance system, which is really God communicating with you, letting you feel certain emotions in response to what you're thinking, and where you are in a moment. If you start thinking thoughts that you're unworthy, you're going to feel awful. But the feeling of feeling awful is your emotional guidance system telling you that's not how we would think about you. Switch your thinking right now. And then you switch to more thoughts of self-worth and self-love. And then you feel good. You feel relief. That's, again, your emotional guidance system communicating with you. That's more of that kind of thinking. Now you're pointed towards everything that you want. So understand that you know, it's it's a matter of focus. So as you become more aware of how that guidance system works, that we're all born with, that emotional guidance system, the numbers will keep appearing, but they'll mean less to you. This is just sort of the universe communicating with people through numbers before they've really understood their emotional guidance system. That's really all it is, okay? It's a little wake-up call. It's a little nudge, right? Okay, so let's continue. Thank you for that, by the way, Zach. I hope that answers your question. 𝗙𝗪𝗂𝗂𝗃 𝗙𝗰𝗲𝗃 writes, can I manifest my ex, a different person as well, because right now he's acting very immature, but I still do love him? I don't know if you're asking if you can manifest a different person for your ex. I don't think that's what you're asking. I think what you're asking is, can I manifest him as a different person? Well, this goes back to kind of what I said, I think to Dope Queen, is if you're perceiving him as very immature, understand what part of yourself that you're perceiving as immature. Now, I'm not saying that you are immature, but I'm saying there's a part of yourself that you don't like that's projecting outward into your SP. So you need to come to terms with that. You need to kind of work that out in yourself, okay? What part of yourself do you think that his behavior, his immature behavior, is mirroring back to you? Remember, it's a mirror. It's just a reflection of what you're most focused on in yourself. And even the things that you're trying to avoid in yourself, or the things that you don't like about yourself. Every time you see something in another person that you don't like about them, that's usually an indication that there's an element of you or yourself that you don't like about yourself. So again, it's never about changing them. Okay? I'm going to keep saying this. Don't try to change them. That's not manifesting. All right? Manifesting is changing yourself. That's what it's about. And as you change yourself, and as you reconcile whatever it is you think is lacking in yourself in terms of maturity, and again, I'm not saying you're immature, but I'm saying there's some part of you that perceives some part of you as yourself as immature. And probably it's unconscious and you're not aware of it. So understand that there's a limiting belief going on about your own sort of idea about your maturity. And as you reconcile that, and as you work that out in yourself, it'll work out the kinks in other people around you, including your SP. It's just a reflection. That aspect of him is just being highlighted to you because you're highlighting it in yourself in some way. Okay? Remember, don't try to change them. Don't try to change other people. Change yourself. That's what it's about. We're still, a lot of you are still stuck in this sort of Western idea of push, 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 convince other people. If they don't agree with you, argue with them, scream at them, beat them down. Come on. Again, this is about you, all right? Not them. So, thank you for that, Francie. 𝗙enia, the veteran. Hello, 𝗙enia. I love what you're doing, Tarkon. Thank you so much. I have one question nagging at me, though. I remember in one of your videos that you suggested going on dates and having fun building confidence via dating. I realize this may be a sensitive subject for some, including me, but what do you have to say about dating plus sexual intimacy? I chose to be celibate for several years, and while breaking my celibacy with a specific person might be a special, wonderful event, I wonder if I need to build up my confidence through engaging in sexual intimacy with others. I've been attending therapy to also assist in helping me feel more comfortable dating again, and I don't know if it will help or hurt my manifestation to have sex with others while dating. Honestly, I don't want to, but I understand if it might help build my confidence and comfort with myself. What are your thoughts? Again, sorry for the sensitive topic. You don't have to be sorry. I don't think it's a sensitive topic. We're all adults here. At least I think most of us are. I can see in the analytics of YouTube that pretty much all of you are adults. So, look, you know what? It comes down to what it is you feel comfortable with doing. And I'm not saying that you have to date other people or that you have to have sex with other people besides your SP in order to build your confidence. I'm saying that might help certain people in certain circumstances. But it's not necessary. And when I say dating other people too, when I've said that in the past, what it usually means is that I'm just encouraging people to have fun and to do things and activities, even with other people that aren't their SP, that take their focus off their SP so much, okay? Because a lot of you out there are and I know this, and I can tell from your comments, and I can tell from your coaching stories that you send me, that you are sitting around all day long thinking about them and missing them and wondering what they're doing and trying to figure out how to get them back. You're not focusing on yourself and your joy when you're doing that. Okay? And it's not their job to make you happy. All right? So your job is to make yourself happy. When I've suggested in the past that people date other people, and again, taking it on a case-by-case basis, I'm just saying that they should engage in activities that take their mind off their SP from thinking about them all day long. Okay? And so a date could be a romantic date. It could just be going out for drinks with someone you just met. It could be a fun date. It doesn't have to end in sexual intimacy. I don't think most first dates do. Maybe they do. I don't know. That's up to the individual people. But really what it's about is, you can go out with your friends and call that a date. All right? You can go out and meet your family members for a couple of drinks or a coffee and call that a date. Okay? You can go out by yourself and have a date with yourself. The point of a date is to have fun. And yes, oftentimes going out on sort of more romantic dates, if you will, but more of a sort of a date with someone you don't know, can build your confidence. It can help you also sort of get into the mindset of just being in the moment and having fun, so that when your specific person comes back, you're not so hyper-focused on yourself. You're not so self-conscious. You're not thinking all the time about, do they like me? Do I have something in my teeth? Am I jabbering nervously? What's going on? Being so self-aware and self-conscious, because now you've kind of gone out and you've done things with other people, not necessarily sexual intimacy, not necessarily kissing them or even getting more involved. You can go on a bunch of first dates and not see the same people again for a second date, okay? I think people overthink this idea of dating or going on dates. Dates are fun. They're just fun to interact with another person. And another person you're not so emotionally involved with, so that you're not quite so self-conscious, but you're just being in the moment, letting loose, and just deciding that you're going to have a good time no matter what in the moment. So when your SP comes back, you kind of trained yourself into a more relaxed, centered mindset, okay? That's the only, really, when I recommended people dating, that's what they do. Now, if that leads to sexual intimacy, I would say, if you want it to, then allow it to. If you don't want it to, then you don't have to. There's no one that's saying, no one's saying that that's necessary, or that you need to do that, or that that's some kind of a technique to get your SP back, okay? It's just saying, don't focus so much on them and focus more on yourself and having fun in your life, and even having fun without them. Because trust me on this, guys, the moment you have more fun with yourself, with other people, the more you focus on your life being fun, the more you focus on your passions and your hobbies, the more you focus on building your confidence, the more they will begin to show up in your reality, and eventually, boom, there they will be. And I don't know how to stress this enough to people, because it's like you have this addiction to being obsessed and hanging on to your SP, and then you guys wonder, why aren't they here yet? Because you're obsessing about them all day long. You're thinking about them all day. You're clinging to this idea all day long, every minute of your day, to the detriment of your happiness and feeling good. Nobody wants to be with somebody like that. Let's look at it from a practical point of view. Would you want to be with somebody that's obsessing about you all the time, that's needy about you all the time, and they haven't done anything for themselves, and they're miserable all day long, and they're, everything in their world is about you, and they've put you on this giant pedestal like you're some kind of a god? You would run like hell from somebody like that. Okay? I'm just gonna lay it out. You need to start focusing on yourself. You need to take if you're in that obsessive mode of thinking about them all the time, you need to stop focusing on them for a while. And don't be terrified that means the universe will forget you want them. No, it won't. It always knows what you want. It never forgets. It's hoping, wishing, praying. Yes, the universe is praying that you will stop obsessing about them, so that it can finally move that into your life that you've wanted for so long. But you got to take the step. No one's going to make you do it. So forget the whole dating thing, okay? You don't need to date other people. If you don't want to, then don't do it. But the idea of dating is just a symbol. It's just an idea of having fun, getting out there and mingling with people, being social, being around some other people that aren't so much your SP, or people that remind you of your SP, okay? Go chat up some people and make some new friends. Go join a cooking class or something interesting and fun. You can meet people there, okay? Do things like that that get you out of your head and get you out of this tiny little box that you've placed yourself in, where it's just you and your SP and this little dance that you guys are doing, this little energetic dance. You need to step out of that. Because as you do, and as you sort of get involved in your life, you'll forget about them more. You'll think about them still. You go, oh yeah, I still want that, but I don't need that. And boom, watch how quickly they will begin to enter your reality. Okay? So that's all it is. There's no need to date other people, no need to be sexually intimate with anyone if you don't want to be. Now, if you feel that you want that because you think that'll be a challenge for you, or you think that that might boost your confidence, then try it out. Okay? But I will never tell you that that's something you have to do. Okay? It comes down to what you feel comfortable with, what makes you feel good, and what brings you joy. That's how you manifest. Okay? It's easy to take ourselves too seriously and to take all this stuff too seriously. I'm saying take a lighter touch, take a lighter approach. That's what's needed across the board for anybody learning manifesting, especially wanting an SP back. You need to take a light touch. And taking a light touch means having fun. So in those videos when I talk about dating was just another expression of fun, of having fun. But it doesn't have to be that. There's millions of ways for you to have fun. You can take a road trip, you can go hang gliding, you can go swimming, you can do all kinds of things that are fun. Dating is just one form of that, okay? Going on dates. Some people love that, and some people have said, when they've done that, that helped them let go of their SP, and then their SP was able to move in. So, consider that. But again, you don't have to. And thank you for that. I hope that answers your question, Xenia. So, let's see. Do we have one more here? I think we have time for one more before I gotta bounce. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see. All right. This is from 𝗙ecie_𝗿 Hi, Tarkan. I'm curious. I've been doing this for a while. I finally reached a state where it's as if I just knew it's going to happen. Manifesting my ex-husband. Today, from nowhere, anxiety struck, and the third party that he's engaged to just kept coming to my mind. Is this us almost switching from different realities? I would love to know how to stop this. Well, first of all, a good way to stop this is to stop worrying about stopping it. Okay? Because, again, if you're focused on trying to stop something, you're trying to chase away the anxiety, guess what? You're growing. You're growing more anxiety. Right? The more you focus on it, and trying to chase away anxiety or negativity is a form of focusing on the negativity. See, it's a little nuanced, right? It doesn't seem to make sense. It's a little bit backwards, but that's in fact what's happening. The more you water that weed, the more it'll grow. If you want the weed to die and starve, you starve it of your attention. Your attention on something, your focus on something is like food and water for that thing. You're feeding it and you're watering it, and so it will grow stronger. If you don't want that anxiety, focus on other things that don't make you feel so anxious. And I know it sounds so simple. And I understand it's not always that simple, especially in the beginning, but it's practice, guys. It's practice. You're going to have to do that part, all right? You're going to have to keep going and keep practicing. You're not going to sit down at the piano and learn the piano right away. You're not going to know Mozart immediately. Unless you're some kind of amazing, incredible genius, you're not going to sit down and go, I'm going to read a book on French and then I'm going to know French, okay? It's a process to learn these things. So, again, if you're sitting around going, how do I chase away the anxiety? How do I stop being fearful? You're being fearful. Okay? Instead, if you go, well, hey, what's working in my life? What's going well? What's easy right now in my life? Let me focus on that. Let me practice appreciating that. Let me practice some gratitude about that. So I get more of those things that feel good, more of those things that let me feel calm and centered and confident, less loud jackasses on their motorcycle driving by my house. Right? So again, it's about shifting focus. And I've said this before. If you want to fight war, don't fight war. Don't go to an anti-war rally. Go to a pro-peace rally, because what is it you really want? You want peace. If you go shouting, I hate war, you're going to get more war. You're going to get more conflict, more of that kind of stuff. Okay? Because that's where you're putting your focus. So don't try to chase away your anxiety. Look for things in your life that don't cause anxiety, that aren't so anxiety laden for you, and focus on those things. Find activities that calm you down. Find places to go that calm you down. Do those things, go to those places, think about those things. You're going for that feeling of relief, okay? That's your emotional guidance system saying, now you're focusing more on what you want and less on what you don't want. If you're focusing on more anxiety, you can tell if you begin to learn, if you begin to pay attention to your Emotions in response to you trying to chase away anxiety, you're feeling more anxiety. What is that telling you? What would your emotional guidance system be telling you in that moment? Start to become aware of your emotional guidance system. Start to become more aware of how you're feeling throughout the day. Check in with yourself. Even if you're at work, if you're doing something else, maybe like every hour, set your watch or whatever, your timer, so that you take about 5 minutes and go, how am I feeling? Just checking in on yourself, because you're training yourself to do that now, right? So that you become more aware instead of just reacting mindlessly all the time to your physical environment and to your thoughts and just giving into them. You begin to track them a little bit more. You begin to practice this idea, this notion that you are in control, not your thoughts. Your brain is not in control of you. If you feel it is, it's because you've allowed it to be. But it always takes your command. So learn to pay attention to what your patterns are right now. Throughout your day, check in with yourself and go, how am I feeling right now? I'm feeling a little anxious. Well, then what was I thinking about just now? What was I focusing on just now that might cause me to be anxious? And you'll see, I was thinking about this subject. I was thinking about that subject in this way, and that caused me to be anxious. And then try to connect that to being your emotional guidance system and let it guide you and say, well, then what is my guidance system trying to tell me by letting me feel anxious about that thought I was just having or that thing I just said? Oh, it's telling me that it doesn't agree. That's the universe telling me it doesn't agree with my assessment of that situation. So then now how can I think about something else? What thought can I reach for that's going to bring me relief and make me feel better? What's a better feeling thought I can reach for right now? And then you'll kind of rack your brain. You might not come up with anything right away. That's okay. But you will come up with something that will bring you a sense of relief. And the relief is also your guidance system letting you know now you've let go of focusing on what you don't want, and now you're refocusing and redirecting your thoughts towards what it is you do want. Keep going in that direction. It's like a compass, guys. It's like a map, okay? That's all it is. You're making your emotions and your anxiety way too important, and you're giving them way too much power. It's just a guidance system. It's just a map. It's just a compass. And it's an opportunity for you to stop for a moment and redirect your thoughts. That's all it is. So actually, it's a good thing that occurs, okay? It's a good thing you have anxiety in those moments, because without it, you wouldn't know where you are in relation to where you want to be. It would just be you out there in the middle of nowhere without a map, without a compass, without any stars to guide you, okay? So be grateful for that emotional guidance system. Instead of trying to fight it, make it your friend. Turn it into your tool. And as far as the third party is concerned, again, there are ways to handle third party. Is there definitely a third party? Maybe you know there is. Maybe you don't know there is. The thing is, you never know what's going on behind closed doors. They could be on their way out, the third party. You don't know. Again, if they're coming up, that's just your indication of, I'm focusing on something I don't want, because you think of the third party, then you get anxious, and then you got to go, well, what can I think about now that's going to alleviate this anxiousness so that I'm not so focused on that? Because the more you focus on that, the more you're watering it. Now, again, I don't want that to freak you out and go, I just had an anxious thought. That means everything's gone to hell. No, it doesn't work that way. It's about momentum. Just because you haven't had an anxious thought doesn't mean that horrible thing you're anxious about is going to happen right now. Okay? It's about momentum. Otherwise, the good things would also suddenly, you would think of a pink elephant and there one would appear in your room. That would be complete chaos if things worked that way. So the time delay is a good thing. But allow yourself to train yourself to think more in the direction of what it is you want. And again, it's training. It's practicing. That's all it is, okay? So I hope that answers your questions, faith, self-love, and all you guys. Thank you for your comments. I hope this helped you. And, again, if you have a more intimate kind of questions, I can't guarantee that I will cover all of them in a video. There's just not enough time to do that. And there's other things that I also have to focus on. So, I love doing this. I'm going to try to do at least one comment video a week. If I happen to skip a week or two, I'll just catch it up the next week. But again, I think these are great. You guys have such great comments, and I can't always type and respond to every single one, right away. So this is kind of a good format for me to address you guys and your questions more directly as well. Okay, and to connect with you, my audience, a little more directly. So I hope that you guys do enjoy this, and I hope that you do get something out of it. All right, guys? So again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't done so already, please do so now. You can hit that bell notification too, so that you will always be notified when my badass self pops up with a new video, and so you don't miss it. And also like, comment, and share this video. If you want to leave me a tip, you can do so down below. There's a link for Cash App and PayPal. Also, there is a link for coaching. All right, like I said before, everything's in the description box that you might want to know, including my email address. All right, guys. So thank you again for watching. Thank you for the comments. And until next time, I'm 𝗏𝗏. I wish you happy manifesting. Enjoy the game, guys. And until next time, bye-bye.